You know, out in the vast, wild corners of America, there are stories. Stories that get whispered around campfires, passed down from one generation to the next. Legends about things that lurk, just beyond the light, deep in the shadows of the forest and the desert. But what if they aren't just stories? What if those fleeting shapes you think you see at the edge of the road, or those strange sounds just outside your tent? What if there's something more? Okay, let's dive into this really dark corner of American folklore. So for our first case file, we're heading to the American Southwest, into a story about a kind of terror that hides in plain sight. A creature whose greatest weapon is mimicry. We're talking about the Skinwalker. Now, according to ancient Navajo legend, a legend so feared that many people refuse to even say its name out loud, a Skinwalker is a dark witch who has the ultimate disguise, the power to become any animal it wants. And here's the part that's truly chilling, the real core of the psychological horror here. The disguise, it's never perfect. There is always something deeply, unsettlingly wrong with it. And this is where it all falls apart. People who've seen them don't just see a coyote, they see something that's wrong. A coyote with eyes that look eerily human. An animal that's running on 4 legs 1 second and then suddenly stands up on 2. And its speed, it's just described as impossible.
Its abilities are absolutely terrifying. It can turn into a predator, like a wolf or a bear. It can apparently keep pace with a car that's speeding down the highway. But maybe its most sinister weapon is its voice.
This really gets at the malevolent intelligence behind this thing. The stories say it can perfectly mimic the sound of a crying baby, or even the voice of someone you love screaming for help. Anything to lure you out of your house and into the darkness. All right, let's move on. For our next case, we're going to shift from that psychological horror of a perfect mimic to the raw, visceral fear of being methodically hunted. Case File 2, the Wendigo's Hunger. The warning sign for this creature is about as primal and direct as it gets. If you're deep in the freezing northern woods and you suddenly get hit with the unmistakable smell of decay, you need to run. Because you might have just stepped into the hunting grounds of a Wendigo. The legend goes that these things were once human, people who, in the dead of a harsh winter, resorted to cannibalism to survive, and as a punishment, they're cursed to become these towering skeletal monsters forever driven by this insatiable hunger for human flesh. And this isn't just some dumb monster, it's a terrifyingly patient hunter. The process is systematic. First, it just stalks its prey, for days, always staying just at the edge of your senses. Second, it uses that time to psychologically break its victim down, driving them absolutely mad with paranoia and fear. And only then, when you are completely broken, does it make its final strike. So for our final case file, we're really scaling up the terror. We're going from a personal hunt to a community-wide catastrophe. A story that's just wrapped in this existential dread. This is the Mothman's prophecy. Okay, let's go to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, back in 1966. For 13 solid months, this entire town was gripped by a terror that just defied all logical explanation. What's wild is that hundreds of people all reported seeing the exact same thing, and the descriptions were unnervingly consistent. A humanoid figure over 7 feet tall with a massive bat-like wingspan. But the feature no one could forget, these huge, glowing, hypnotic red eyes. I mean, its physical form was bizarre enough, right? But its abilities were completely unnatural. There were multiple reports of it chasing cars down local highways, easily pacing them at speeds over 100 miles per hour. But this is where the story shifts from just a weird creature sighting to something way, way more chilling. The sightings start in 1966, and they go on for 13 months. Then, on December 15th, 1967, the town's Silver Bridge collapses, tragically killing 46 people. And on that exact day, the Mothman was never seen again. This has left this unavoidable question that still haunts the town and the legend itself. I mean, what was the Mothman? Was it some kind of demon, an alien, or was it some bizarre, terrifying omen trying to warn everyone about the disaster that was about to happen? So a mimic, a hunter, and an omen. 3 totally distinct legends from the American wild that all tap into our deepest fears. And that brings us to one final, lingering thought.
When you look at all these stories together, it raises one final question. Are these shadows in the wild just a warning of some danger that's coming? Or are they the danger itself? Something to think about, I guess, the next time you find yourself alone in the woods.